Hello and welcome back to Dial H for Heroclix. I'm your host, Kalder and Ian. This is episode 528. It's our great big Gen Con US Nationals rundown episode. Howdy, howdy, let's get rowdy.
So if you're looking for emotional satisfaction, my advice to you is seek professional
Heroclix,
help.
I'm here to take back what's mine. You may try, but you know how we settle things here. Instant deadpan humor.
Over 6 people think I am funny.
I'm your Captain America.
That was just you in a costume.
You absolute fools.
Simi to be able to edit that out.
That's cool because it's expensive.
I'm gonna make Heroclix like that forever.
Are you kidding? Wow, wow, wow. Dial H for Heroclix is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock every day, including all the latest Heroclix singles and seal products. Make sure you check them out at CoolStuffInc.com. Use code DIAL5, DIAL5 for 5% off your Cool Stuff Inc. order. And if you want to get Heroclix straight from the source, you can go to shop.whizkids.com, pick up some Heroclix today. You can use code DIALH10, DIALH10 for 10% off your order of Heroclix items that are not pre-orders, as long as they're in-stock items, they're not iconics, etc., etc. Joining me in the studio today is Ian Eggleston. What's going on, Ian?
A lot, honestly.
Oh, boy.
It's always difficult to transition from, like, Heroclix work to real-life work. So going to work today, you know, you just kind of stand there like, oh, I'm back at my job. And really all I'm thinking about is, oh, I still have to do all this Heroclix stuff, though. So legitimately today, it's like I was just kind of mindless, just going through the motions of things, just thinking like, oh, but this will be so cool and this and So working on the fan appreciation, finally crunched all the data, which we'll talk about today, which will be pretty exciting, I think. But yeah, just feeling weird, honestly. It's always hard to transition from this. It's easier with Nationals, though, because Worlds is right there.
So soon. Yeah, that's what makes it so much easier, is like Worlds is right around the corner. Even though it did feel a little odd and kind of get back home, even after any long trip, where it's just like, oh, this isn't like my normal. I'm back to my normal, not my hotel room Gen Con floor normal, where it's like,
rolling
oh yeah,
big dice.
I know where these things are at Gen Con, but now it's like, oh no, now I've got to be back in my house, and like, where did I last put like the saucepan or whatever, you know? So it's like, oh, okay, I guess I'm just kind of home.
It's
now.
hard. It's
Back
a hard
to just
transition.
normal life, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's
I
fun,
like working on Heroclix stuff.
Yeah, it's so much. It's so fun to work on Heroclix stuff. Finally, kind of worked through getting some things unpacked today. Some things I bought. Some other things organized. I'm happy about that. Gotta organize some Heroclix though. Oh my gosh, especially before Worlds. Needed to do it before Nationals. But anyway,
I needed to do it like a year ago.
yeah, it's true.
It's a shipping center. But I'm also insane, and I refuse to get rid of anything, so that makes it difficult.
Correct. Well, let's just kick us off. I mean, like, what made us happy this week was Nationals. So we can just kind of talk. We
can talk about some specifics of
highlights.
Gen Con that maybe aren't Heroclix related.
Oh, sure.
It was the Heroscape 20th
anniversary. Calling it the 20th anniversary is just wild.
Yeah.
Like, what would you say? You've been dead for 14 years?
It's something like that. Like, Heroscape came out in, like, 2004 then, and I think it was, like, dead in 2009, 2010. I don't remember when the last expansion was, but it definitely wasn't going for 20 years. It's been dead for a minute. Game is still awesome, but I thought it was really funny that they had these shirts they're selling where it's, oh, welcome to the 20th anniversary of Heroscape. It's a little disingenuous. We still picked up the second edition of it, though. Of course, pre-painted. We're Heroclix players. I don't want to paint these things.
Nah, I ain't about that.
The gameplay is a ton of fun, really easy to pick up. Building the map is a lot of fun. So getting that, it's something we were talking about for a while. So day one, instantly went and picked that up. That made me really happy. In addition to that, you guys might have seen them on stream at some point.
So, just really quickly, Heroscape, quote-unquote, died in 2010.
Okay, yeah.
That was the last, thing that came out before Age of Annihilation here. Its first release was in 2004. So, yeah, they were alive for 6 years.
6.
Dead for 14. And now they're alive again.
Hey, guys, let's celebrate.
The 20th anniversary.
Dig up the corpse and celebrate the birthday
It's so
of Grandma. This is crazy.
Jeez.
So, yeah, it's still a cool game. I'm happy to have it back. I'm interested to see what happens there. But this is a Heroclix podcast. So let's talk about some Heroclix things. which is buying more dice that I don't need to play Heroclix. I got some big, stupid dice this week.
Big dumb dice, dude. I hate these dice so much. They're just so.
Calder thinks they're a waste of money.
They are a waste of money. They're like $25.
$25 for the set. Yes,
that's insane.
Yeah, but these could like break people's figures.
Yeah, I know. But you can't roll these dice.
I can't roll them.
You paid $25 for a pair of dice you can't use.
Oh, they'll be in videos, dude. They're the limited edition Wildberry Pop-Tart dice. The dice to end all dice.
Goodness.
If you're playing 300-point Darkside and your dice aren't this big, I mean, GG, dude. Good luck. You're not winning.
Oh my gosh, they're aggressively big. Like they shake the table. They were going to cause like pretty much every figure like fall over if they don't hit them and break them. They'll fall over at the very least.
It was such a bummer that Brian Galley wasn't in attendance because last year I had brought him some very interesting dice, the Tilted Funhouse dice we had previously mentioned.
Those are hilarious.
And he said that they would be legal dice, but he doesn't want to take the time to explain to every one of my opponents that they're legal. So technically they were illegal, but they're legal. So these were the next dice that I was going to bring him and say, what do we think about these? And I think maybe just going forward, every time I see Brian, I'll have a new pair of stupid dice to have him gauge the legality.
That's a good little bit. I like that. We got to shout out, man. I miss Brian. I miss Brian so much at this event. Brian's so much fun. He's a great like head judge of HeroClix and everything. And I missed him. It was like
it's not the same.
As soon as we learned Brian wasn't there, I was just like, really?
It was really sad.
It was a bummer. It really was a bummer.
So if you're listening, Brian, we did miss you at the event. I'll have some wacky dice to present you.
Can't we see it at Worlds?
You to rule on. Yeah, we'll see you at Worlds. What else? Oh, yeah, I picked up a really cool MF Doom print. Mad Villain, like all caps, like him dressed as the Mr. Fix-It-esque character, which I was really happy about. I picked that up on the last day. Shout out to Ralph over at WizKids who shot me a message and said, hey, there's an MF Doom booth. I was like, really?
That was real of him.
So last day I managed to snag that, which was a lot of fun. And I think that was pretty much everything I picked up. Oh, I picked up that card game too, the neckbeard trying to win the waifu's heart.
That's really funny.
Which is I haven't played that one yet, but should be a good time. I bet
it's like so easy to play. It looks insanely easy.
It looks like it'll be a good time. And yeah, it was obviously fun to record HeroClix, but we'll kind of get into that later. Calder, was there anything outside of Clix that made you?
There's a few things. A lot of it is kind of like buying a few other games, stuff like that. So, shout out. There have been a few listeners that have messaged me their Weiss Schwarz card collections, and I picked up some more Weiss Schwarz this weekend, which is really fun. Probably I guess this is a pretty fun story to probably mention on the podcast, but we were at I don't know what game company this is. I guess I could look, but I bought a pack of Versus System Marvel cards. These pack of Marvel Zombies Versus System cards. I'm a big Marvel Zombies fan. Flipping through the cards, they were really cool. They had like a lot of zombies that I really enjoyed in them. But I just wanted to buy this pack of cards. Like that was it. And so I didn't really need anything to necessarily carry these cards in, but so I go to the checkout and there's this really nice lady and she checks me out. She's like, well, do you want the Neopets bag? Because the biggest thing that this company was bringing was like their Neopets.
It's a big bag too.
It's a massive bag. It's so huge. And I'm getting like, the size of a deck of cards is what I was getting. Like literally no bigger than a playing card deck. And I was like, no, I don't really need a bag. I'll just put it in. I've got one. She's like, no, but do you want like the Neopets bag? And she was like really hammering home it until she finally said like, well, I designed the bag. I was like, oh, then of course I want the bag.
Gotta have it then.
Gotta have it. But she was really I was like, why is she so adamant that I take this Neopets bag? She was so like, you really don't want the bag? It's a really cool, it's
gotta be a pretty cool bag.
Pretty cool bag.
Come on.
And then I was like, oh, okay. So you just really wanted me to take your bag because you designed it. That's
all right. I'll get you the bag.
Oh, okay. So it was so funny. And then one more shout out, but the game Not So Neighborly is one that I've played with a few friends before, and they had a booth this year, and I instantly recognized Dennis and Gruff, two of the characters that are in the game, kind of like fun little who would be like the Mr. Misters and Mr. Men and Little Misses. They kind of look like those kind of characters. You know what I mean?
I don't know what that is.
It's some show where they're all just kind of blobs and shapes, but they have like limbs and stuff. They're just kind of little goofy little cartoon characters is all. Anyways, these characters look the same like that, and it was really cool being like, oh yeah, I need to finally get a copy for myself. And the two girls running the booth are the ones that actually like did the art and then designed the gameplay for the game. So it was really cool.
Oh yeah, now I know. I remember what you're talking about.
Yeah, that game. So it was really cool just to be like, oh, well, hey, I really like this game. And they're like, oh, you knew who Gruff and Dennis were? They were like, they thought it was cool that I knew their names. I was like, yeah, they're my boys. So it was just really fun where it's like, you get to meet a game designer and they're really passionate that you enjoy their game. And it's like, of course I enjoy your game. You made a good game. So it's always, I don't know, I like meeting game designers. I met a few years ago at Gen Con, like when I bought like the Trogdor game and a few other games. And that's just always a blast. So that was a pretty big highlight for me as far as like other games and things went at Gen Con.
Yeah. Also got to mention the pins. The pins were pretty fun.
I failed the pin hunt this year.
Honestly, I wasn't super impressed with like what you got for hunting the pins, but there were some cool pins to pick up, which I did.
The ones, I mean, I missed out. I did not actually end up getting the Stealing the Magic Cards pin, which is an elite pin, but I totally missed it. They were sold out, and I never like got back to the exhibit hall. But the biggest one that all of us got, SAL also got this one, was the Kool-Aid Man. The crit Kool-Aid Man pin, which is really cool. That entire booth was really cool. And now there were so many pins where it was like, I'm good, I guess. It was like an animal plus dice was like 90% of the pins, it felt like.
Which with one of them
was very fitting for you. Very fitting for you.
Just a cat that looks like it's going crazy. It says you can never have too many dice.
Yeah, and that is you. You literally...
That is literally me.
I buy so many dice.
That is literally me.
Well,
I'm like a cat with too many dice.
I got to shout out Ken Small. He made me these sick Captain America action tokens. These are actually like these are so cool. I mean, you've already seen these, but the US agent and then also Captain America's shield 3D printed action tokens. Like, if you want some really sick Captain America action tokens, shout out Ken Small. You can probably find his post on the Heroclix Makers Market, but I really like, and he has a great price. It was like $20 like 8 of these. Or no, I got more than 8. Yeah, it was like $20 like 16 tokens. It was nuts.
That is a good deal in the world of tokens.
It is. So.
And then, obviously you have to shout out Asael hanging out with us. Just doing coverage with all of us at the Alpha Strike. It was a lot of fun.
Every night we hung out was always a blast. And then especially the Heroscape night. That
Waking
ruled.
up the next day was a little tricky some days.
Hard. Very hard.
Going home after the fan appreciation and being like, all right, we got to film this Avengers unboxing. And we're like, nah, we'll do it the next night. And then the Clix Bowl runs till like 12:30.
So late, dude.
Takes for us to get takes forever to get a lift. So we end up filming it then. So if you think we look a little off in that video, I think it was filmed at like 1 in the morning.
I realized in that video, I'm like really trying to hold my eyes open. So my eyes look really wide the entire time, where I'm like trying not to be asleep because it's like 1 a.m. when we're filming that. And
it was tough.
Don't look tired. And I just look like I'm on speed or something.
The next morning,
just wide like crazy.
Wake up. Just call a lift immediately, get going.
Dude, instantly.
It was...
And then still we had people texting us, hey, where are you guys?
Where are you guys?
We want to start.
Photo finish.
Yeah.
It was tough.
Man, it was tough.
So, still very enjoyable. It was great to just hang out and, play the new Heroscape. And
it was fun.
Control-Alt-Delete.
Classic.
So, yeah. That's, I think, everything non-HeroClix. Obviously, we had a blast filming the stuff, seeing all of you guys interacting with you, seeing all the crazy teams you're playing.
Seeing community, it always warms my heart when anybody walks up and is like, hey, I like what you do, like keep up the good work.
Especially like random people in the event hall.
So much. Yeah,
hey, Dial H, they fist bumped us. I was like,
you're Dial H. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, are you at any HeroClix events? And he's like, no, I'm not. I'm working a booth. And I'm like, well, thank you. That's so cool. You like, yeah. So that really ruled.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
So... All right, let's break it down, shall we?
Break it down, all right.
Day one of Gen Con. Mm-hmm. Just a qualifier.
Yeah.
But not just a qualifier. A qualifier that kind of sets the standard for the rest of the event.
Yeah, that is something to talk about for sure.
Just a quick mention. We don't have to go
There was like
a
system error with the point tracking. And so initially they were supposed to play 4 games, but they ended up only being able to play 3 because... some hiccup in the way that scores were tabulated. I don't know for sure what exactly happened, but we ended up waiting around a little bit, and because of that, it then set the precedent for every qualifier being 3 rounds instead of 4, because they didn't want it to be unfair going forward. So 3 rounds, honestly, I think most people were probably okay with that.
So we were fine with it, 'cause that's what they did last year. I think going into
I think it was, yeah.
That's exactly, that's what they did last year. So it was like, okay. It probably caught people off guard that they were going to play a 4th round. I know it caught me off guard because I just assumed
I was a
they were
little
gonna do
surprised
3,
by that.
just like last year anyway. So, okay. It was like, okay, well, you said
There's
you're
a
gonna
lot to do at
4.
Gen Con,
It's
so-
a bummer to not do 4, but okay. Yeah, we'll just do.
I think it's
Sure,
more
we'll just
important
do
to
the
be
3
on
that we kind of
time
expected.
to finish the event. And I think that's what ultimately people agreed on. I know they tried to host a vote for it, and I know quite a few people abstained from it, so they called it at 3 after that.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Just due to, if you're already qualified, why would you vote in that? Or
Yeah.
you know exactly how I'm going to vote based on my current standing. So ultimately it was resolved. I think things were fine. I don't think anybody walked away from the first qualifier like, oh, it should have been me. I didn't hear that at all. So I don't think there was any negativity. Things ran really smoothly outside of that one hiccup. Honestly, I was saying on the way home, this was probably one of the smoothest run events. When we were just kind of
agree.
hanging out, I was like,
I agree.
I don't think there was ever a point where I felt like we weren't being communicated to. So, yeah, for us on our end, everything too with the judges, they really went out of their way to make sure we had ample time to set up, make sure we were going, collecting build sheets, asking
was
for
so
the
nice
initiative
of them.
data. They were coming up constantly to me going you have everything you need, we're good to go. So yeah, okay, perfect. And then they'd start. So they really looked out for us, and I super appreciate that. I like that they appreciate what we're doing enough to kind of put the event, put us ahead of the event almost in some cases.
Yeah.
With top 4, we did
In
show
top
up.
4, they definitely waited
Showed
for
up
us
at
a little
10:02, 10:03.
Yeah.
Supposed to start at 10. That is our fault, straight up.
bit. Straight up.
But,
so
hey,
tired, though. We had 5 hours of sleep, less than 5
It was
hours
tough.
of sleep on that one, man. That was so hard.
It was tough.
Oh, that was
Also our fault, but
also our fault. Also our fault.
Give us a break,
That's true. Come on.
give us a break.
on.
So they waited for us.
was
Multiple people were messaging us going,
shout
hey.
out the judge team. Chris, ID, Aaron, Anthony, you guys rocked. You guys did a great
Yeah.
job. Jay, everybody this weekend on the judge team, judge squad, you guys ruled.
In addition to that, I want to say thank you to Ryan O'Polk, Dova Keenan, the new kind of event team with Scott stepping away. Ryan is he's killing it. He's been fantastic. Another person who has just been so transparent and clear with the community, setting expectations, and also providing all of the Kevins this weekend.
He did. He
which
did
was
indeed.
so fun. So him getting all those out, making that as smooth as possible as well. It really did just feel seriously, such a smooth event.
Ryan continues to just be a very amazing and yet very easy person to work with on a lot of things, and I always really appreciate that about him.
Yeah.
And then we didn't fully work with Dova totally with this event, but it was super nice getting to meet her and getting to kind of chat for a little bit. She was telling me about an Evil Dead escape room that I don't know if it was she runs or what it was. I kind of forgot, but I was like, yeah, that sounds insanely cool, and I have to go do that right now. Not right now.
Right now.
Eventually, right now, I'm getting a
I'm
plane
leaving.
ticket. I'm getting a plane ticket right now. Get me back on there. I want to go back. But yeah, it's that was really cool. Shout out, of course, Scott was here one last time, back in the settle again.
One last hurrah.
To pass the torch, esque. And Scott was there. It was fun. It's always good seeing Scott. So,
And then lastly, got to shout out John and Jake. They took a ton of time to hang out with us, chat with us, just kind of gauge our thoughts on Heroclix, which is, crazy idea here. The people with the podcast and the YouTube, we like talking about that
love
kind of
talking
stuff.
about Heroclix. So sometimes I can't stop talking about Heroclix. I know I can't stop thinking
Can't stop
about Heroclix.
thinking.
That's just true.
You take that away, my brain is I don't even want to know.
Jeez,
Just
what do I
mush.
think about when I don't think about Hero?
You know,
Man.
what's my innate thought if it's not
if it's not
team building
Heroclix?
the last few days it's just been thinking about the data and the conversations that'll come from that.
Scary. It's a scary idea. Scary thought, man.
They were great though. They really
ruled.
were a lot of fun. You guys will get to see
Got
here
to,
soon in the fan appreciation event.
Got to spend some really cool one-on-one time with some of them. John.
Yeah.
I can't forget the business dinner.
Oh
with
yeah,
John.
stay tented.
The Stay Tented was so good.
Keep the fingers
and
tented.
Man, shout out
Business mode.
Shout out Harry and Izzy's this weekend for a place to get
Quick food.
the shrimp that just punches you in the nose.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
When you take a bite of the shrimp cocktail, I really appreciated that. That ruled.
It was wild
It was wild. It
because
really was.
normally heat lingers in your mouth or in your throat, whereas this was you take a bite,
Right
it's
on your tongue. Yeah.
oh my, oh. And then it's done.
And Ian was like, Calder, you can't have this.
I was like, well, I was telling you, I was like, you
were
won't like this. Based on you being like, oh, Ian, did you put salt on this?
Stop.
Oh, this is so spicy.
No.
Well, I mean, what it's really based on is that it's based on.
I thought salt
in
was
Memphis.
spicy.
You're like, yeah, give me a chicken sandwich. I thought you said spicy chicken sandwich, and you were eating that, and you looked like you were in pain.
That hurt.
Dang.
Dude, I was like,
yeah.
That really did hurt me.
So I was like, if that hurts you, I was like, this will kill you. Because I bit into that thing, and I love spicy food.
Kill you,
dude. I remember
that is how
thinking,
you were acting though. You were like, this is gonna kill you.
Well, I didn't know it was gonna go away, so I was sitting there like, if this is how it is, like, I have to go to the bathroom and like blow my nose or something.
Blow your nose.
Either way, delicious shrimp. Thank you for the suggestion of Harry and Izzy's.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh man.
Overall, I think that's about everything unrelated to the meat of the episode.
The true meat of the episode. Hey, also really quickly, shout out the Gen Con Convention Center for becoming streamable somehow this year. Last year it was hard to it was hard to post build sheets on Facebook last year. Like my phone wouldn't load very well. And I didn't even get a new phone. Like I have the same phone as last year. And I'm like, wow, I can stream in good quality. Quality dropped a little bit in Lucas Oil Stadium, which is like to be expected. But in the main
I had
Gen
5G.
Con, yeah, dude. In the main Gen Con proper, I was like, wow, my quality is like great. And after the storms here in Omaha, certain parts of town I don't have connection, which is another thing. But anyways, like, dude, like, yeah, shout out the Gen Con Convention Center for having streamable data usage in it, because it did not have that. And also it was sold out this year. So there's more people than I've ever been at Gen Con, and still was able to stream, which rocked. But the data, the things people want to know, Ian, you were collecting data every single game, every single match for 300 Modern. What were you collecting for those that weren't on the stream, didn't know what the whole data thing was at home?
So the main thing I was after was to either prove or disprove if winning initiative wins you the game. I was always of the belief that no, it does not. There are too many variables in Heroclix for going first to completely decide a match. Obviously, there's going to be cases where it's more impactful than not, but the thing is, if you know that, or if you assume that, then you need to build around beating that. So for people to write it off and just have this one-dimensional thought of, oh, winning initiative wins you the game. Oh, alphas are way too strong. Alphas might be stronger than they've been previously, but this has been an argument for as long as time, and very rarely has it ever been true. There's so much opportunity to build with things that don't get built with. I mean, I think the biggest example is like Kong. People knew how good Kong was. Everyone played Kong, and the only person playing a 2x2 Captain America was Pat Frazier.
Which is insane.
Which, it's just like,
well,
you
Howard
can go
also
ahead.
played Cap.
Oh,
Howard
okay.
also played. So there's only two people. The only two people played quote unquote Kong killers is insane to me.
Like a direct counter, like you can body a Kong in one attack
just
with
one
Bucky's
shot,
arm Cap.
one attack, yeah.
Just bang, he's done. And nobody really played that. So for people to like look at this data that we're about to present and think, wow, like Kong is so overpowered. It's also like, it's a method of like groupthink. There's more to it than just that's the say all end all be all. And that's the number one thing we're trying to prove, is that there's more variables in Heroclix than I went first, I win. So the group think of like, oh, everyone's playing Kong, I might as well play Kong too, because there's nothing that beats Kong. And that's what we saw here. Is that going to be reflective of tournaments going forward, especially with Worlds coming forward? No. So my other thesis that I'd like to present is that for Worlds, I don't think the team that hits the hardest first will win everything. I think the team that wins is the team that can counterpunch. Because right now, everything in the game has a lot of reach. The maps are smaller. You can't go to Morlock tunnels. So just about everything is going to be able to get across the board and beat you up. Not everything is going to be able to live. So I think if you're a competitive-minded player, you need to start putting more stock into things that can survive, things that are hard to take off the map. And that is why Kong is so good. He does the best of both worlds, right? He can go across the map, beat you up, and he's also insanely hard to take down. It's what makes him what he is. It's what makes Mern so good too. Shutting off your opponent's ability to modify their attack gives you so much defense, while also providing so much offense in the event that they have something like Mern. So you have to consider a lot of this. It's why we saw things like Death Metal Wonder Woman get a spike in play. Colossus Prime didn't make as big of a showing as I thought he would, but still a lot in the qualifiers. Mern wins it all. Butterfly being such a popular thing with things like BTU Batman to protect you from close attacks from, again, Kong. Mern to prevent, again, Kong. Like, that's what's crazy to me about this. And then I'll be done here.
Yeah, no, good. Yeah.
I'm going off, I know. But that's what's crazy is, like, everyone knew it was Kong, and look at how little variance there was in not playing Kong. Like, in the top 8, you had Alex Mader, who wasn't playing Kong. Who else? There was one other person who wasn't playing Kong in top 8.
Lucas, who's playing
Colossus Prime. Thank you. So you consider these things, like, we're all aware of these things, and then people are just feeding into it. Obviously, there's a meta. There are figures that are better, but the point I'm really trying to get at is there are options outside of it. There's more non-linear ways to play, and I've probably made 1 billion points at this point, but let's just get into it.
Let's get into it.
So let's just talk about it. Jump right into it. The one initiative and one game out of 118 games played, 65 out of 118 games played were win initiative, win game.
Wow.
Win initiative and lose game is 53, giving our total win percentage 55%. A 5% swing for initiative is all it is, folks. In the current state of the game, which I know Nats is not reflective of everything. I'm not going to claim it is, but the fact that this is as aggressive of a meta as it is, where we're carrying 2 Kongs up with Blackheart, or Elsa Prime with Blackheart, so many attacks, such big damage, and you still only have a 55% win chance, or win share with win initiative, win game.
That just... Everybody thought it was so black and white, right?
Yeah.
You win initiative, you win the game. And the fact that it's just barely an edge to that.
Well, I think another point...
I think that speaks just how much... I don't know.
People I don't think understand how much 5% is, though. Like, when I asked people to poll, like, how many games do you think...
Yeah, they were saying crazy numbers.
75%, 80%. If you had a 30% swing on winning initiative, that's absurd. And so I'm not going to say, like, you know, you have to alpha or you don't have to alpha or blah, blah, blah. The point is, and the only point that this proves, is that winning initiative does not win you a game, and there are so many variables outside of that. I can't say it enough. Please, if you're going to take away one thing from this episode, it's that dice are in a dice game, and you can roll dice, and you can still win a game if you lose the first dice roll. Like, I swear, we just watched it happen over 100 times.
That's a crazy concept, Ian.
It is a crazy concept.
I roll dice in this dice game, and sometimes they roll low, and sometimes they roll high.
Yes, you'll have an
away.
advantage, but a 5% advantage for building and theme. Yes, we're in the Scott Porter era where everyone is themed.
Yes,
but when Scott Porter goes away, that will matter more. People will consider building theme based on, I think, the percentage it takes, or the percentage you get as a bonus, quote unquote, for winning initiative. You know, having initiative is good. No one's going to dispute that. But it's not the say all, end all, be all.
Right.
Now, this is where things get particularly interesting.
This is an interesting statistic because I had never really seen much play on this before this weekend at all. And now I'm sick of seeing it. I've seen it in almost every game we've streamed to some extent. I think it was like this and like 2 other maps I watched this entire game, like this entire last weekend. But yeah, the Major Brock's bunker statistic is just kind of insane. So the lost initiative had Brock's bunker and won, is 19. They lost initiative, they had Major Brock's bunker, and they still won the game. That's 19 people. The lost initiative had Brock's bunker and then also lost the game. It was only 1 person. So out of the 20 people that lost initiative, and again, we don't know if they actually played on Brock's bunker, but they have it on their build sheet. So it's
very likely they played on this map.
But the fact that when you lose initiative, but if you have Brock's bunker, you can like the 95% chance of winning is insane.
Yeah,
that's an insane stat. Where it's like, okay, well now it flips the whole. Well, if you win initiative, you win the game. And now it's like, well, if I lose and put us on Brock's bunker, a 95% chance of winning based off 20 games.
If I'm making that choice, yeah, it's it's not necessarily like, oh, you now have a 95% chance of winning. It's I
Right.
think what it's really telling you is that if you want a chance to win when you're losing initiative, one, you should probably have that map. Two, at a minimum, you should have a plan for that map if you're winning initiative and your opponent's
Definitely
picking
plan
that.
Just seeing like the way people comment on the live stream, the way certain players, I've noticed how they would set up in different ways on Brock's Bunker. Number one, like depending on if they won or lost initiative, right? What were good sides to choose? They're very, I guess, besides the quote unquote east and west sides, the side that doesn't have like the tank or the whatever it's called, like one terrain. Elevation like one, and then the tank are on opposite sides, and there's other two sides that are like the most common one are those two sides, the east and west sides.
The player who like picked the map, the person who then gets to pick the side, often picked the same orientation.
Yeah,
where it was like the easiest route to get to them
Yep.
via Blackheart. I carry my Kong up to that like left-hand elevation area, and then I run at you. Not a whole lot you can do. With Amit's Tomb being as prevalent as it is as well,
and the fact
just
that
made
the
for some
map
crazy
is
easy broken
lined
walls, crazy
with
damage.
walls. Why is the map lined with walls?
It's so effective. It plays so heavily into Amit's Tomb, which is running the meta right now.
Insanely,
There's no question about it.
Insanely, it's so
The best element in the game at the moment. I don't think it's debatable. I learned something
I feel
very
like you
crazy
have to
about
mention
it.
that. Yeah, that's so wild.
Shout out to Alex Mader who told me about this, and I was just sitting in my chair like, really?
Dumb.
Oh my
dude.
gosh. So when he got attacked by an Arachnite at some point, and the Arachnite double targeted his Death Metal Wonder Woman and his Ghost Rider while he occupied debris. So while you're in debris, you take a bonus damage when you're dealt damage, not just from an attack, just period. So Arachnite ended up taking 4 Mystics for making 1 attack.
4 misses.
And I couldn't believe it. That's so crazy. I was aware of how good Amit's Tomb was, I guess not fully, but when you put that in tandem with what is appearing to be the best map and probably like a mainstay, it's really hard to argue against that not being like the most impactful thing in the game right now. And it's also hard to not argue for a change. I know players have suggested it,
Yeah.
but it really should just be when you attack. It's insane that you just get bonus damage for things like poison.
Poison is weird. The Mystics thing is insane.
In Silver Age, the free Tri-Sentinel pings, the pulse waves, it's too much. It's too much for a 0-point element. It's a cool
Yeah.
element. I like the flavor of it, like truth be told. But getting punished for 4 because I double targeted, oh my gosh, you can't do this to me. That's insane. When I learned that, I was
nuts.
actually just like, oh,
I would feel so bad.
I'd feel horrible.
I'd be like, oh wait, really?
If
I'm
my
gonna take
opponent
4
didn't know that?
Mystics? Ugh.
Yeah, so there's something. Going back to Major Brock's Bunker, if you're going to go second, you need to have a plan for this. And if you're not going to go second, you still need to have a plan for it because your opponent's probably going to pick that map.
Yeah.
Now, here's where things get a little interesting, is if you won initiative, your opponent didn't have bunker, and you won, it was 64 people. Won initiative, opponent didn't have bunker, and lost 34%. Or 34 people, sorry.
Yeah.
So this brings the winning percentage to 65%. So you take out Brock's bunker, and that 55 now turns into a 65%. So you have a 10-point swing
Interesting. Wow.
when bunker's not on the board.
Wow.
So now we start getting into a territory of, oh, wow. If you win initiative, you have a 15% swing in favor. Once again, guys, this is Nationals data based on I think it's 80 some players total. So it's not entirely conclusive. This is just some fun stuff to look at. I think it'll be a lot more conclusive with
It's
World.
just fun. Data is just kind of fun
Yeah.
to collect. Remember that, guys. Remember.
But you do have to point out the things that are impactful. And right now, the things that are making, I think, the biggest splash is Amit's Tomb, and it is Major Brock's Bunker, excuse me. You factor all these things in, and you add Kong, who is arguably the best piece in the game right now, maybe even above the Porters. I'll say it. He's that crazy. It makes for some really, really nasty teams, and you get statistic potentially like this when that's what the entire field is. So how impactful the alpha is, I think it's kind of up for you guys to decide how impactful that map is as well. I mean, just the fact of removing it from the data spread, and now you have a 10 percentage swing in favor of the alpha. There's a lot of arguments you could make. There's a lot of conclusions you could jump to, specifically saying jump to because this is not, it's just not the full story, but it is interesting. And so I think I'm interested to see what people will make of this. I'm really excited for this to go public. Well, you guys will be seeing this probably as we're talking
They're
about
sharpening
it.
their pitchforks.
And yeah, please reach out to me, reach out to Dial H, reach out to Calder maybe. I don't know if he wants it or not.
Yeah, I guess.
Let us know your thoughts on
Sure.
this. Let us know why these are impactful, why they're not impactful, why you think this is the greatest thing ever, or why you think it's complete trash.
Yeah.
Let
Sure.
it weigh in, because there's, I think, a lot of untold stories within this data, and I also just think it's so inconclusive with it only being 100 or so games that we still have a lot to see. There's still a lot of players who have yet to make their mark. There's probably a lot of players who are playing way different things, and the mindset going into Worlds is so much different. There's always the meme of 2x2 APOC comes out to play.
Yeah.
There's so many more defensive teams that make it, whereas, Nationals, especially with kind of the expectations from last year, they understood this year, like coming in, I have to be so aggressive to win in pod play.
We saw insanely aggressive
It's just
teams.
only aggressive. Whereas Worlds, I think there's a lot more like secret tech. There's a lot more strategy. There's just a lot more planning.
There's a lot of defense at Worlds. There's an insane amount of it.
So it's a different beast, and this data reflects a very aggressive pod play style. So does that mean that it will extrapolate correctly to Worlds? I don't know. That's why, seriously, weigh in on it. Let us know what you think. At the end of the day, it's just some numbers. I hope it doesn't cause a fire on Facebook, but
Hope not.
so be it.
You never know. You never know if it does or not.
There was some interesting stuff.
The world rankings didn't cause as big of a stir on Facebook as I thought, but we got a lot of people in real life letting us know how they thought about.
I'm going to prove you wrong.
I'm going to prove you wrong.
I mean, technically, Isaac was ranked 13th, which is just...
No, it's
It's
not.
just incorrect,
It's
and
just
he
not quite right.
proved
It's not
us
right at all.
wrong.
He did prove us wrong. I mean,
There's not enough data.
It was, Ed did say, and it was like, he took that seriously. And I was like, okay, well, let's see it. And then we saw it. He came home first place, U.S. national champion. So
It was really funny to see Daniel Powell versus Daniel Powell 1 against Alex Mader 4, and then Isaac 13 versus Alec 92.
92, that rocked.
And he ended up coming away with second, which got to
won.
shout out Heroclix USA
Gots
for the
to,
big second place.
Heroclix USA, just an absolute joy to hang out with and then
Yeah.
talk throughout the weekend. But also big baller moves. Busting
Big baller
out
moves.
Cathan, knowing where it's like, you know what, I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna go out on my terms though.
Yeah.
Getting some last second kills in with Cathan. I mean, everybody clapped. If you watch the gameplay, shout out SAL on the Alpha Strike, you can go to his channel. We'll link the championship match that he has uploaded there. But whether you watched it live or you watched the recorded championship match, the clapping is hilarious when Cathan comes out. You think the game is over, which I mean it is, but it's just so funny. So it's a lot of respect. Everybody do it for the meme. Cathan, do it for the meme. So
It's better than a handshake.
Way better than a handshake. Oh, putting Cathan out is a million times better than a handshake. It rules.
It was a tough team to beat.
It was.
Isaac, in an interview later, said, it was designed to be statistically, improbable to hit.
So funny.
It's okay, well, seems like it did its job.
Kind of next level. The, kind of going into, kind of the top 8 here at U.S. Nationals, or even really the top 16, just because I want to talk about Pat. I was bummed. We both had our predictions, and we both had our thoughts of what we thought was going to win. So we were both correct in saying Kong. Obviously, that was a no-brainer. That was automatic. But I was a little disappointed in how poorly... I don't really necessarily want to say poorly, but how not as good as I thought they would do. The Captain Americas and Timebreakers.
Underperformed and underrepresented.
Underrepresented, yeah. Captain America and Timebreaker. Only, like we said earlier, only 2 people played Captain America on the Pegasus, and that was Howard Brock and Patrick Frazier, one being the current standing world champion. And that was just, I don't know, it blew me away. I was like, how is he not just running away with killing these Kongs left and right and left and right? And I know Cap just kind of dies, but still,
I'll give you the answer.
Okay, what's that?
Kongs a lot of the time have a 21 or 22 defense.
Yeah, but there's even a game I watched with Pat versus Nate White, and he just kills Kong right away. But then, there's a few other things that happen, where Spider-Man comes in, misses attacks, etc. But even without Nate, even Nate losing his Kong, who was also playing Prime Spider-Man, which is crazy. the Prime Spider.
Only person who played Carnage Silver Surfer.
Yeah, dude, that actually was probably the craziest thing. It was like that Nate White was playing Carnage Surfer.
Kong is so powerful, he has pushed Carnage Silver Surfer out of the meta.
That's really
Wild.
the craziest thing.
Maybe
right?
I'm incorrect in saying that, but
I think
it very much appeared that way.
I think that's right. But like, what does Carnage Surfer do to Kong?
Tickles him.
Damage doesn't do. Yeah, it doesn't really do anything. You know, it doesn't
He has
really
a little
kill him.
feather.
It doesn't tickle him. Doesn't kill him. So Carnage Surfer is just such an ineffective attacker against Kong, and that's like the main worry. Why would I play Carnage Surfer?
Yeah.
Colossus? Oh, Colossus also reduces pen. Why am I playing Carnage Surfer?
Yeah.
I feel like that piece is like, it's wild because that piece ruined my day so many times, but it's not effective anymore.
That big globby red.
Big globby gooey surfer man. He looks sticky.
Another thing I have to mention as well, I do, to kind of go on to the thesis again of World saying, I don't think the best alpha wins. I think it's the best counterpunch that wins. Lucas Van Holland was playing the Prime Colossus with Death Metal Wonder Woman. Absurd amounts of sustain. There's no team in the game that can come in and like one-shot that team. It's crazy.
No.
He also has Butterfly, which can bring in Myrn or the BTU chase Batman again.
That was such a great pick, seeing the BTU chase bats.
So crazy. Like, this team is... I really like this team. Initially looking at it, I was like, how does this win? How does this work at all? But no, it's absurd. And on stream, you guys can actually watch this over at the Alpha Strike again. I went back and watched it myself just because I didn't catch it live. He crit missed 3 times in a row. Like, straight up just rolls a 3, probs, crit misses. Okay. Attacks again, crit misses. Attacks finally with Scott, crit misses. He needed a 5 to seal it.
Oh, that's right.
And I think Dan kind of acknowledged it, saying like, yeah, I think you would have had me if, you didn't crit miss 3 times. And then,
insanely bad luck.
I won't say it's like karma, because that would imply that like Dan did something wrong.
Yeah.
But in Dan's game against Alec, he did crit miss a critical attack, and it is kind of like
shoes on the
what
other
got
foot.
you here is ultimately what
What
took
did
you
you in?
out.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to spread any hate. It's just kind of,
I think you are.
yeah.
I think you are, actually.
Yeah, we're trying to start a fire. No, just dice or dice. But honestly, if that were to happen to you on Roll20, you'd be going, I hate Roll20.
I hate Roll20. Yeah,
Roll20 did this to me.
Oh, I mean,
Lucas is like, that's just another Tuesday.
I rolled it. Yeah. Just another Tuesday. Shout out M. Bison.
He also said when we were rolling those big dumb dice, one roll, he goes, never underestimate my ability to roll a critical miss.
And
then he rolled a critical miss in one roll.
And it was hilarious.
I had heard
That
rumors
was truly unreal.
that he was a cursed, like when he gets to higher tables, his dice become cursed. And I was always like, well, that's what everybody says. I've witnessed it enough now.
So many times.
Lucas, I feel bad for you. That's tough.
Makes sense that he kind of builds around not rolling dice when he plays silver. Don't
fair.
blame him.
Yeah, well, he won silver. So
Exactly, yeah, exactly.
There's the story there. So, man, it's just crazy. But I think Colossus Prime is a real threat, a real counter
I guess
to Kong.
to mostly say is like a lot of my picks didn't end up happening. Your picks got a lot closer than mine, though. Arachnite
Daredevil,
Arachnite and Daredevil were all over the weekend. Mag Dump Arachnite with the trick arrows was just all over the place. He was in so many qualifiers. He obviously got second. Alec was playing him. Like, it was wild how much Arachnite we saw out to play, and I think we're only going to see more.
I think
is really
3 of the
cool.
top 8 teams had Arachnite. I would have never predicted that. Let's be clear. Yeah, Jalen.
Yeah, Alex Mater, Jalen, Alec. Ed.
Oh, and Ed. 4 of the top 8?
Wow.
You're kidding. Yeah. Arachnite
That's
rocks.
nuts.
He's a cool figure.
Half of the top 8. Yeah, wow, that's insane.
Isaac even said the best attackers in the game right now are Kong and Arachnite. I'm like, huh?
It's so wild to put one right after the other.
Yeah, though, to me, in my mind, I was like, those aren't in the same discussion.
No.
Even, but I guess they are.
I guess.
Arachnite's
It was
mobility.
insanely impressive, yeah.
You want to know who really impressed me this weekend?
Oh, probably
outside
about
of
who I'm
Alec?
about to say. A certain green-ringed character.
A certain Green Ring character.
Yeah, Elsa Bloodstone Prime.
It just... Oh my gosh.
She blew my mind, too. I did not realize she was like that effective of an attacker either.
No. I thought she was building the nuke.
Again, thanks to trick arrows, I guess. But Still,
I had no idea.
It was insane. Yeah. Who knew pink attack power could mean so much? just having precision strike is just that good.
Makes her so strong. Like, my goodness, the amount of damage I saw her build.
But yeah, free
I seriously
attack.
thought she was just the replacement to Mad Jim. I was like, oh, she can hand out trick arrows and then you're done. No. She's not building the nuke. She is the nuke.
She's using them trick arrows. Yeah, I think the free attack with the costed action attack with any trick arrow, like into big or something, is just so good.
Free attack into free quake into big.
Yep.
Or into the pen side or the free pen damage.
Yep,
like just 2 pen. Or just tokening people with the sonic arrow. Or getting a poison arrow onto a Kong. Now you're reducing one less and you can just chip through him. The utility is never ending.
Nuts.
The trick arrows are absurd. It's what makes her absurd. But yeah, just being able to carry her up and be like, all right. And the thing is like, if you blackheart her up, running shot, shoot, trick arrow, free attack, trick arrow, free quake off the trick arrow, she's dumping the magazine too.
Yeah.
And also, in note of that, the Page of Pentacles tarot card as well, being able to jump around 6 with stealth, that plus Blackheart is so crazy.
Yeah.
It's so much mobility.
That was the coolest play I saw all weekend.
Yeah.
Easily.
Just, oh my gosh, the amount of repositioning you can do with that plus Elsa was absurd. I didn't even feel like I was watching a Heroclix match at one point. This card flipped and it turned into like Dragon Ball Z. They were flying. And it was really cool in all honesty. It was like, wow. Because if I was playing that or against that, I think I'm just too far removed to like recognize those things as much as I'd like to. You know, if you go back to the library and study, I'm sure you could
get back in there, yeah.
But man, just watching that happen and sitting there and looking at Asael while it's happening, just like, what is happening?
What in the world?
What's he about to do to him? Oh my gosh. So yeah, that she was easily the biggest surprise, and I'll say it on the podcast right now. I think she's the best prime in the game.
Wow.
I don't think it's close.
That's a hard
either.
thing for you to admit usually, dude.
Mystical. So she gets Amit's Tomb, which once again is... It's not fair. Amit's Tomb is broken.
Yeah.
It's a broken game element. There's my opinion on that.
Oh, yeah.
So you get Amit's Tomb. You get free trick arrows. Also, like, one of the best elements in the game. You get a free attack, which no one's ever going to hold you, like, break your arm over a free attack. It's like, I'll take that. And she equipment swaps. Something that nobody did. At least I didn't see anyone. And I saw, shout out to Joe Alves for pointing this out in the live stream. What you can do is you can carry her up or you can move her up with Blackheart. Shoot somebody with a trick arrow, do all your free attack shenanigans. Then you can pass the trick arrow to your buddy, and they can trick arrow you. In the same...
Mag dump.
Yeah, toss the gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you unload the clip, flip the gun over to them. They're holding a magazine.
They're holding a mag.
So just over and over. Yeah, Elsa Prime, I mean, I'll debate that. Colossus Prime, sure, but Elsa Prime, oh my gosh. Mystical is here to play, and that figure is just, I had no idea.
Up.
I had no idea.
Dang,
really cool.
Makes me want to play her. Just talking about it, I was like, dang, I still haven't played mine from forever ago. I need to play mine.
I got mine at Adepticon, and haven't put her on the map yet. If I would have, though, I would have been playing her like a support piece.
Yeah, you would have.
It was Mad Jim with running shot would be me.
It was okay, I guess.
But yeah, easily the biggest surprise. Well, honestly, the prevalence of Arachnite is probably the biggest surprise, but that really
was just insane how much Arachnite there was. Just straight up. But
what I want is more Daredevil on the board. Shout out Jalen.
Shout out Jalen for being a real one, playing old Daredevil. Classic. Gotta have a Daredevil Bucky's arm, bro.
Yeah,
that's just 2 peas in a pod.
Modding?
That's what we love to see, dude.
Man.
But yeah, to run down really quickly your top 8. In first place was Isaac A.B. Second, Alec Musser. Third, Daniel Powell. Fourth, Alex Mader. Fifth, Caleb Reddick. Sixth, Ed Arnold Berkovitz. Seventh, Lucas Van Holland. And eighth was Jalen Major. Pretty exciting. Once again, Isaac, the boy wonder, takes home another title. Takes home the U.S. National Champion of 2024. Just collecting rings, collecting trophies, and we actually there quite was a cool trophy this year. The teardrop trophy of the, what is it, like the tears of your enemies or like whatever. It was pretty fun. Isaac is always a great sport, obviously, and he's always just enjoyable to talk with whenever he wins. So whenever he lets us, so it's always kind of fun. And him and Ed really kind of like went into it on live stream, which is really cool. And I thought you could get a lot of interesting information and knowledge from just such high tier players that it was just an absolute blast. So 300 Modern this year at US Nats, I don't know, I enjoyed it so much more. I don't know, too. It ran smoother. It felt great. What was the big, I guess one difference was when they cut to top 16, they did do 3 rounds cut to top 8, right? As opposed to they did 2 rounds last year cut to top 8.
That is correct. Yes.
So they did have an extra round of play during top 16 this year, which was cool. So there was a little extra something there.
And when you compare the two, I think it's pretty similar. Like last year was the year of Spider-Man Prime. And Nats was kind of the ignition of that. This year we had Adepticon prior to Nats. So we kind of knew about Kong. But even then, we did not see him as much as we did in Nationals. At one point, there was 7 tables playing. There were 16 Kongs.
That was insane, dude.
So Kong's legit. There's no question. I don't think anyone was doubting that in the first place.
No.
But it was the year of the Kong.
It really is.
Maybe that's just what Nats is for, is what's the most aggressive piece? It's going to make a mark. Will Kong be as prevalent at Worlds? I'm inclined to say yes.
I have no reason to believe why he wouldn't be, I guess. Yeah. But we also see some very strange and out-of-the-box creativity at Worlds, which I enjoy. People stay quiet. But is Kong just too good to not play? I think he leans toward that, man. So,
what about Blackheart? Is he too good to not be played?
Yeah, I mean, like, how do you not play Blackheart?
If you're playing
literally,
Kong,
how do you not play Blackheart if you're playing Kong?
He gets you across the board, and then Kong is able to do what he does best. So Blackheart, I mean,
Blackheart's just nuts.
Between the two, it really does feel like you play both. And is there something better than that right now? I'm not sure. If Masters of Time does release on time, though, we have
some legal things,
some interesting
to mess
things
around
there.
with. We have a lot in Masters of Time.
We're not the meta guys. We're just the guys with the cameras, but
couple of dudes
watching film, doing dude stuff.
What's this? Let me point a camera at it.
Yeah, get that camera on.
Get that camera on.
What's it looking like?
Was you rolling dice or something over there?
Whoa!
I got to see that, brother. Come on, get you on stream.
And that's how Dial H started.
And that's basically just all we do. That's what we did for 4 days.
Ed and Isaac interview, though. I'll also state this as well. Top secret. Not really. So Ed and Isaac did a little interview. If you guys watch the live stream of the finals game, you can catch that at the end of it. I asked Isaac, is there anything you're excited for in Masters of Time that you might play? Should it be legal for Worlds? And he had stated the Black Lantern Swamp Thing, which he has a crazy ability to semi-globally generate grave markers. It does have to be within 4 of hindering to place them. But what he does say is that if you occupy a grave marker, opposing characters can't reduce damage. So this is not an outwit. It's not even a power strip. So this goes through Ghost Rider, goes through Power Cosmic. There's no way to stop this. Goes through a Colossus.
Wow.
And you also have the debatably underutilized Black Lantern Batman who can teleport across the map, outwit and flurry. If you occupy the grave marker, he can just pick a color. So if you can get enough grave markers under people with like Necron, Swamp Thing, I don't know if Kong can live. No reducers. Here comes Batman. Bang, bang.
You're gone.
And so Isaac did state that that might be something he's looking at. On the first day, though, he was like standing around, and I did just ask him, so anything from Masters of Time catching your eye? And
this was wild, yeah.
I'm expecting like, Reverse Flash or whatever, and I don't know, maybe I'm not supposed to air this out, but whatever. He stated Supernova, the uncommon.
It's so funny.
And I'm like, huh? But he has a trade.
What's he do?
Where for every Time Stealer on your team, you get a +1 to initiative. So if you play him and White Shirt Scott Porter on a Cosmic theme team with Phoenix Sentinel, you can now set up like a much more likely guaranteed Alpha Strike because you can get like a +5, +6 to your initiative, which I think is pretty cool. Phoenix Sentinel is pretty deadly, and you can remain on theme, so you can get that bonus. I don't know how likely he is to play that. Probably, I'm going to guess probably not. But I thought that was a cool strategy, and I thought it should be out there in the public. So
I agree.
Sorry, Isaac, if it was a secret, you shouldn't have told me.
Really creative. Oh no! Don't start that. I can't tell this Ian guy anything.
He just airs it out on the podcast and on his live stream.
Any event ever again after this. Oh.
Yeah, I just get shunned. No, I mean, this was very much like in passing conversation.
Yeah.
There are people who are very secretive with their stuff, and I keep it locked up. Don't worry. And at some point, maybe you guys at home will get to hear all about the crazy conversations that I had over the weekend with a few other players.
Yeah.
That were building. Like I said, Worlds is a different beast. So when you ask the question, like, is Kong going to still Kong around at Worlds? I don't think it's a definite yes. I think there's going to be a lot of people who are looking to wrench the Kong as opposed to be the Kong. Shout out Nathan Feuenmayer.
That's what I would like to see more of.
Yeah, dude.
I would like to see more counters and less feeling. I don't know. I feel like so many players feel strong-armed into playing Kong right now.
And I would say that it's fair.
Yeah, no, I think it's so fair. But on the flip side, you know, I've seen this argument many times too. Kong's also only like $30.
Yeah.
Like, this is the most accessible the meta's pretty much ever been for like price-wise. You know, don't get me wrong, like, he has expensive things.
The rare Blackheart, $10.
$10, yeah.
Don't quote me on that. He might be more at this point.
He certainly might be. But Kong's like 2 Kongs and Blackheart, half your build, less than $100.
Yeah. It's a pretty good deal.
Pretty good. Now, is the rest of it, you know, $400 maybe, but
the rest of it's probably. But even then, if you have a $500 team, that's pretty cheap.
That's
by
really
today's
good.
Standards.
Yeah, it is really good
compared to, you know, let's zip back like 6-7 months when it was double Carnage Surfer, and then all this other jazz. Yeah, I don't hate accessibility, but I
also
think there are some elements in the mystical wheelhouse that need to be reined in. I don't know what that is. I don't know if you do it before Worlds. I think everyone has very different
You do
thoughts.
know what that is. It's Amit's Tomb.
Well, Amit's Tomb is,
Amit's Tomb is insane.
I think everyone has said it at this point. And the thing is if everybody in your top 8, right? Does every team in top 8 have Amit's Tomb?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. 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 Yes. No. And no. So top 6.
Jalen didn't have Amit's Tomb?
I don't see it on here. On sideline.
He's playing a mystical theme.
But also it's 5 out of 6 though. So maybe I don't know. It's on
7 of the 8 teams have Amit's Tomb on it. And I think that highly influences playing Mystical past just Kong. Kong's Quake now does 4 damage AoE. Your Mystics does 2 damage. Even your Blackheart Fire Smoke terrain could do 2 damage.
Oh, yeah, I guess you're right.
Oh, wait, no, because then it would be above the debris. Never mind. But the fact that you're, in some cases, doubling your damage for 0 points because you messed around in your starting area on the first
couple of walls.
Ooh, I don't know. I hate to be negative, but that is, I think, easily like the most negative experience. And my full opinion on it, I think, is that it needs to be changed before Worlds because everyone is doing this. So if everyone has to switch off of Amit's Tomb, that's fine. Another thing too, I'll firmly stand on this. Every single one of those teams using Amit's Tomb is still insanely good without it.
Still so good.
It could still hold its own. 3 pen AoE Quake is still good. It doesn't need to be 4. I don't know. Yeah, lots of thoughts on the mystical builds, but I think Amit's Tomb is, after watching this much Heroclix and watching how much debris impacted a game.
Jeez, yeah.
Something has to change. Something has to change. And I know we're not the guys who normally talk about this stuff, but I think we probably watched the most Heroclix of anybody this weekend.
Oh, easily, dude.
I'm not saying that gives me the merit to
except for maybe somebody that like no life the streams, you know, except for maybe,
true.
You know, the people at home probably, but yeah.
I wonder if they'd agree. it seems to be pretty unanimous that Amit's Tomb is problematic.
There were a lot of people that had to comment saying, "Oh wow, another Kong versus Kong on Major Brock's Bunker." Cool. It's like, yeah, I watched a ton of those games this weekend. That's just what was being played and what it was being played on. It couldn't be helped, honestly. So I'm sure there are plenty of people being like, wow, there's Amit's Tomb just going nuts, going crazy. So
but if you break things down, I think there's going to be a handful of people who are saying Blackheart needs to change. There's going to be a handful of people saying Kong needs to change. But both of those people, it's like that meme, the arm and the other arm coming together.
Oh, yeah.
And it's change Amit's Tomb.
Nerf Amit's Tomb, yeah.
Once again, we're not the guys who
100%.
petition for this. But I think after seeing this weekend, I don't think anyone is going to disagree with that. And I'm interested to hear the other podcasts talk about this. It'd be interesting to see the data for win percentage with Amit's Tomb and without. I bet it wouldn't change because every team was playing Amit's Tomb. Except for, I don't know. That's something that maybe we should break down.
Yeah.
How many teams didn't play Amit's Tomb? So, yeah.
It's got to be so few. It's just got to be so few. But before we get too far out of Nationals and everything, we'll talk about the Clix Bowl just a little bit. It's pretty easy.
Oh, yeah. The Clix Bowl rocked.
It was just pretty cool. Just like massive times, a great sealed set. Even people playing 300-point Darkside didn't win all their games. It's just kind of crazy to me. How wild is that? So, it just seems like a really good, fun, ebb and flow style of set that was being played. The majority dinosaur or colossal that was pulled was Mr. Mind, without a doubt. I saw so many Mr. Minds on the tables. And we pulled the only Ultra Humanite, and then, what's it called?
Aquanix was pretty scarce.
2 Aquanix, and there's only 1 Flash Raptor.
Yeah, Flash Raptor was very scarce as well.
1. I saw quite a few Super Soars.
T-Rex, Super
A few
Soar.
T-Rexes. I saw 2 Beast Boys. Not a ton.
Yeah, not a lot of Beast Boy. Either way, it was cool that there wasn't necessarily a nuke 2x2 to pull.
Yes,
the big nuke is pulling Darkside.
100%.
Which you got to have one in sealed. You got to have a figure like that.
To.
And when it's Darkside especially, it's that is totally fine. Everyone had a blast, though. The Clix Bowl was a ton of fun.
I'm really happy that Masters of Time was able to be played as a team sealed event.
Yeah.
Because, that doesn't happen for every set. It just doesn't. So it's really cool that it got that opportunity, and a lot of people were having a blast playing it in sealed. So I like that it's just a really fun sealed set.
And a great atmosphere to go with it.
Oh, dude. Being on the, stadium, the field stadium, was such a fun, I don't want to be there the whole time because I want to be by the exhibit hall and all this other stuff. But having one event out there just to kind of break up the feel of all the Heroclix events.
I hope they do it again.
I hope they do it again. Yeah, because there's more the air feels cleaner in there. Cause just straight up is
less bodies.
Less
straight
bodies.
So many less people.
It feels cooler in there after it got kind of warm that day, that kind of whole weekend. So I really like just kind of breaking up now we're in a new space. You can kind of look and see all the chairs and everything. It's really fun. So I liked it. I think we should, let's do that again. Let's do Team Sealed. I'm pro that. I will say I would like to hope maybe a day could be dedicated to Team Sealed. That would be nice.
Yeah.
I understand with the way the modern schedule kind of has to go. It doesn't really allow itself to have too much more time for Team Sealed, which is kind of a bummer. But I know there are a lot of people asking, who were the winners? Who won? It's well, technically, yes, if everybody would have
honestly,
kept track
everybody
of their
won
points.
because they got Masters of Time.
That too, dude.
The set of the year, calling it now. We'll see you in December at the Clixies.
Facts. See you then. Yeah. Straight up. Match time just rules. So, speaking of some more kind of fun things, fan appreciation happened.
Yeah. Fan appreciation was a ton of fun, too.
It was a blast.
They finally addressed the Kevin situation.
Big, long addressal of Kevin, which you'll see in the video later this week. But there's a lot of Kevin talk. A lot of Kevin talk.
Very nice of them.
It was all good. It was all good. It was happy to hear. It was, hey, here's the situation. A little more understanding where it's the distribution didn't get mixed up like it should have been. So all the Kevins are backloaded and they're on some magical palette somewhere. Who knows what. But now they're doing these things to get more into the hands of people. The trade-in here at Nationals, there'll be a trade-in at Worlds. Hopefully future trade-ins as well, which is really cool.
I think they handled it really well.
I'm
really happy with them getting everyone in a room and saying, "Here's what happened." Straight up.
And
we had to figure this out too.
It was a bummer.
It wasn't black and white.
You know what?
We don't want this to happen.
Yeah.
So really
they
props
it.
to WizKids
they
for
owned
owning
it. That
it.
was cool.
And hopefully I think correcting it pretty well in the future, giving people the opportunity.
Another big
to get in
thing
their
saying
hands.
like, hey, we're aware there are ultra chases coming up in certain sets, like Superman, you know, and we made sure that he is able to be pulled, that he is like has good distribution. We saw 3 pulled this weekend.
They had
3 or
mentioned
4 pulled this weekend.
they're sending
actually.
somebody physically to the place where they get boxed up now.
Yeah.
To make sure that it happens.
Make sure it's not getting messed up, which I love.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get them like in line.
So that was really, honestly, I wouldn't
cool.
say the highlight of the fan appreciation, but I really did appreciate as a fan that they addressed it.
It seemed pretty necessary.
I think the coolest thing is that the room unanimously agreed to spoil Deadpool when Wolverine. That was really funny. So for people who hadn't seen it, one of them being on the panel,
dude,
Ryan,
I felt so bad. Yeah, dude, Ryan had just not seen it, and he just got spoilers shouted at him from the. It was insane.
They're like, "Are you sure? Are you sure?" He's like, "Go for it!" And people started yelling.
I was like, man, I really could not believe they were all about to like spoil Deadpool and Wolverine. That was nuts.
We were both sitting there like,
dude, I was like, are they really gonna just let everybody shout it? And they're like, yeah, sure.
Don't do this.
I was like, why? No. You know, there's people going la 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 la, like plugging their ears. I'm like, yeah, dude,
that was funny.
It was so funny, but yeah. And so anyway, some of those top picks were. I'm just kidding. We aren't gonna spoil it. I mean, you instantly said this spoiler that I knew you were gonna say because of course.
Well,
but
after
I was like,
Ryan
oh
was
my
like,
gosh.
"Okay, fine," and then there was a beat where Jake was like, "Well," and then I yelled,
yeah.
I had to.
But it was just, dude, it was so wild. It was like, yeah, sure, everybody yell it. And it's like, really?
And then it turned into like, oh,
spoiler city,
spoiler,
dude.
spoiler.
I feel so bad for anybody that didn't see it and didn't plug their ears. It was just instant spoiler city.
No, really, the coolest thing to come out of fan appreciation, no doubt, is the fact that we have a confirmed Mogo for the Lantern.
Oh, yeah,
set.
I was about to say it's got to be the Lantern Legacy. It's like
what
working name of Lantern Legacy.
And he said, spoiler, it'll fit in a booster. What?
Yeah, so Mogo's pullable in a booster.
Mm-hmm.
That's got to be like the new MODOK, right? Or it's like, yeah, so this booster's got Mogo. This thing's heavy.
I
thick
don't know, dude.
ball. Is he going to be like a cut in half sphere, and then you put them
You
together?
have to assemble him?
Yeah, like I don't know how Mogo's going
Does he
to fit
become
in a
the
booster,
map?
dude.
Does he?
Be
There's.
cool.
I have no idea, but the fact that he's in the set is like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Easily the highlight. That and the second thing for me, no question, was that Juggernaut sculpt.
I was going to say the same thing. The Juggernaut crashing through the wall, that rules. Like
Smash
I don't
and
know.
Destroy.
Yeah, Smash and Destroy is an interesting like concept of like a set that's all about just I don't know breaking stuff. We saw what Abomination, Red Hulk, and Juggernaut.
Yeah.
So it's big beefy dudes that destroy things.
I'm going to go out on a limb here, take a guess. Ultra Chase Miley Cyrus
on
a wrecking ball.
No, that's probably going to happen. You're so right.
Yeah.
Wow, you're so right. Wow, I've been waiting for this for
Everyone has
11
right?
years, I guess. I think. Yeah.
That's,
oh boy.
That's just my guess. Wrecking Crew keyword.
Honestly, yeah. Wrecking Crew. Wow.
The other probably
That's so
like
dumb. Sorry. Like, oh my god.
still just taking in.
Yeah, I really
how
I'm thinking
genius.
about it. Yeah, if any listener wants to go to HC Units, use their custom units, and make us a custom Miley Cyrus Wrecking Ball Ultra Chase figure.
Don't.
No, please do.
Don't do that. Because it's going to be real and it won't stack
it'll
up
be
to the
real and it
one.
won't.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
The other thing that I thought was really cool that they physically passed around, as someone who I get down with D&D, but I don't play it like a ton.
Again, I knew what you were gonna say.
The Beholder sculpt,
Yeah, the
how he's
Beholder.
just blasting the laser.
Dude, the blast looks so sick. He's huge.
Mm-hmm.
The Beholder's huge. It rules.
That is crazy, crazy cool. I really like that. And then I think lastly, the shout out that I have to do for the fan appreciation is to Kenny and Caleb. When Jake
That
was
was
like,
pretty cool.
what do you guys want to see? And I won't spoil it on the podcast. You'll see it in the video, and it'll be hilarious because probably catch you a little off
That
guard.
was really cool.
But that was, it rocked.
Them, their little dude. I mean, we can kind of see they're in costume, right? Like, so like the fact that they were in. I don't want to spoil it again, but like that also was just really cool. I want to see more Heroes players show up to events in costumes. I think it's really fun.
Maybe one day, Calder.
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day I'll make that Harvey Birdman cosplay.
I really want the Harvey Birdman, the Skinny Steve, the... Yeah,
I'd do Space Ghost maybe.
Space Ghost would be cool. Yeah.
I don't know.
It's just so fun, especially at Gen Con, where cosplay is like a normalized space to be in. I get maybe not at like a DepCon or like any other like big HeroClix convention.
True.
But I think at Worlds, you can also kind of get away with being a little more extravagant, a little more like, ooh, crazy, you know, wearing a costume. I think that's fun, so...
I was showing
We'll see.
some of the people I work with, like the pictures I took this weekend.
Oh, nice.
And they're like, I feel like you'd cosplay as Spider-Man. I was like,
No,
man,
you
that's
wouldn't.
boring.
You would never do that.
I mean, if you like Spider-Man, that it's fine. But that's like just a very vanilla take. I feel
Tall
like.
Spider-Man.
I don't want to be Batman either. I love Batman. I don't really want to be Batman either.
Spider-Man.
Really tall Spider. I feel like Andrew Garfield is pretty tall.
Is he?
I think so.
He's like 6'2".
6'2". That's pretty tall.
That is pretty tall. But that's like
coming
superhero
from
height.
Mr. 5'3".
Don't. I'm not 5'3".
Sorry.
You have to quit
4.
saying that. Some people believe that,
Some
dude.
people believe
It's not. It's not.
He's
chill.
5'3". He loves Applebee's.
Some people believe that I love Applebee's
And-
too. We need to quit. We need to quit saying these things. And we'll get an email like, "You don't like Applebee's?" Oh, goodness gracious!
He hosts a podcast. He's 5'3", and
Not
he
5'3".
loves Applebee's.
Not-
Everybody, welcome
I
in Kalder and Ness.
The DD base was also a really cool thing.
It was,
we saw
yes.
fan appreciation. That fact that it like plugs on, plugs off, kind of because it's a friction fit, right? That was really cool. We got to see one of the DDs. I forget her name, but she has a big cloud portal water thing.
Oh,
behind
Hadari
her.
Yao.
Yeah, that sure. Yeah, that one.
The
Her.
Storm.
Storm. Yep, she
And
was
they,
really cool.
they said this is like the heaviest skull. I think they compared her to a dinner plate, if I'm not mistaken. Which is pretty funny.
it's a very wide, round sculpt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those deity bases, too. They showed off that they were like removable at the fan appreciation, but people who are playing BRs didn't know that. And so I walked by a table. I was like, you know, you can pop that off, right? And he goes, oh, really? That's so cool. Oh my gosh. And he like instantly put it on a different figure. He's like, thank you, man. I was like, yeah, no
That
problem.
was really cool.
I mean, we're already putting our deity base to incredible use.
It rocks.
You guys
I guess
just
actually
wait.
I could show that to you now. Yeah, it's really cool.
That will be revealed in December.
in December. Perfectly good use.
So overall, the fan appreciation was super cool. I'm excited to get that all put together. In fact, I'm going to start, or continue, I should say, working on that right after this to get that out to you guys.
By the time you're listening to this. Maybe, I guess, maybe not.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, never mind. No promises.
Maybe.
No promises. Ian, we got a couple of questions.
We have a lot.
I was about to say, I don't know why I've been putting this off for so long. I was like, oh, goodness gracious. We have listener questions.
Either way, wrap it all with a bow. Gen Con rocked. This was the most fun Gen Con I've ever had. WizKids made it amazing. The judges made it amazing. All the contacts there made it fantastic. The exhibit hall was awesome. The energy was great. The play was awesome. Although, might have seemed a bit negative earlier in the episode. There's maybe some problematic things. That's okay. Eventually, they'll get fixed or they'll rotate. It's fine. It was awesome. Gen Con seriously rocked. I enjoyed every minute of it. And I think we got a lot of cool information from it. And I'm excited to hear what you guys think about it. Hopefully you enjoyed this kind of... I feel like this has been like the most ranty episode so far.
It's been very ranty. It's been very loose, but I'm having a good time. I'm enjoying it. And I agree with everything you said. Gen Con was a blast.
So much fun.
Got to see a lot of my favorite people, you know, whether they're, you know, like WizKids people, HeroClix players, all that stuff. It was an absolute blast. I got to play new board games. Got to buy some new board games. Got to play... I guess didn't get to play any HeroClix, which is the only slight bummer, I guess. But we got to open some HeroClix. We got to be around some really cool HeroClix.
I got every
all
Masters
weekend.
of Time Batman.
You did, and that
except
ruled.
for obviously the play-at-home kit one.
Yeah.
Doesn't exist
Should've
yet, I don't
robbed it
think.
from Isaac's factory set. You should have cut it open.
I just need that
mine.
one, man.
Yeah. That's just
Film
hey,
tax.
bro. Just come on, bro. I
Help
streamed
me
all your
out.
games. Come on, dude.
Help me out, man.
Come on, bro.
Don't make me take this.
Yeah. But yeah, no, Gen Con was an absolute blast, and it's like once again, it's like wow, I literally just can't wait to be there again next year.
Seriously.
Literally just can't wait.
The only thing like keeping me from being like more sad truly is that Memphis is like right around the corner.
Exactly.
And Memphis is even better.
It's the Super Bowl of HeroClix.
It is.
It's the best.
And this is like the playoffs, I guess.
Yeah.
'Cause I mean, and you just actually it's just the warm up, really.
The warm up.
And yeah, operating at full power will be awesome. So yeah,
You guys
we are
ready for full
excited
power. So
to
fun.
see you guys in September. And Gen Con is awesome. If you haven't been, or if maybe you skipped it this year, go next year.
Seriously, consider
You
going.
gotta go next
Seriously,
year.
consider going. Like, if you only like Heroclix, it is worth it.
Yeah.
Just for Heroclix. It really, truly is. If they can do another set, it's also a pre-release set during it, like a super
No-brainer.
A super pre-release, it's an instant no-brainer. This one also, like, and I get that nobody knew this really beforehand, and we didn't really touch on this, but like the whole Kevin thing, where it's like, but still, like, oh, if you could, it was, again, boom, instant added value. Are you kidding me? Like, wow, there's so many surprises this year at Nationals that just ended up being so positive and so fun, where it's just like, yeah, I'm going to throw my hat in the ring for Nationals just going forward, because Gen Con is just straight up a blast. It's just such a fun event. So even if you just want to go for Heroclix, that's so much fun. If you're interested in more than just Heroclix, whether that's board games, card games, whatever, even like cosplay,
Just socializing.
even just crazy idea, crazy
Memphis
concept.
is a war zone. You go there, you're playing HeroClix. It's HeroClix
Blood
for
on the
like
battlefield,
10,
dude.
12 hours.
Yeah.
And then you go back to the hotel. Some people get crazy. Some people just have to go to bed because they got to do it again the next day.
Yeah.
Nationals, you got time to go grab lunch. You got time to grab dinner afterwards. Things wrap up.
Get to hang out.
Hop in the exhibit hall, hang out, find some cool stuff. Maybe spend more money than you should.
Yep.
But
Did
what's
that.
a gaming convention if you don't, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, there's time to breathe at Gen Con, and when you're not like breathing, it's still so
It's
much
just-
fun
it just
because you're just
rocks.
jamming BRs. So yeah, under the hope of an unreleased set coming back next year, or just new product or new opportunities like the Kevin, Gen Con seriously 100% will be back. There's no question.
Absolutely. All right, guys, we're going to jump into some questions from our Patreon Discord. If you like the live streams this weekend, if you want to support all the things that Dial H does, if you want to support Ian and myself, then you can go ahead and support us on Patreon. You go to patreon.com/Dial H for Heroclix Podcast or Dial H Podcast, and you'll be able to support us for as little as $5 a month. You can get access to our Discord. You'll also get sent action tokens and all sorts of fun things, as well as be entered into monthly giveaways. But the $5 tier and up is what gets you access to the Discord, which is how these people are asking us all these really cool questions. Tyler M. asks, do you think the instant KO characters like Darkseid and Prime Blue Beetle are good or bad for the game? I think in terms of Darkseid, it's good for the game and fun for him. In the terms of Blue Beetle, I think that remains to be seen, but it's a little scary.
It's scary. I think overall, it's probably fine. He's 75 points, which is a lot in today's era. I like at least that the very powerful Prime figure is a character that I like, and it's not just Vulture, which is like, what's this guy doing?
That is cool.
So I think he's cool. I don't know if it's good or bad for the game. Personally, I think Darkseid's trait to just eliminate everybody that shares a name is so cool. I love that. The second I read that, I was like, I already needed this piece, but now, oh man, I got plans.
It's cool.
So, good or bad for the game, I think it's totally fine on a 300-point piece.
Yeah.
For Scarab, ultimately, he's only invuln. He's not exactly
That's
hard
true.
to kill. And his dial shifts to like charge like halfway through. Can he do a lot of damage before that happens? Definitely. Can he delete things? Yes. But when there are things in the game that are like so impossibly hard to KO, and then you have things like Death Metal Wonder Woman to make them even harder to KO, this is kind of a pendulum swinging in the opposite direction. APOC and Genesis, their stop clicks for 35 points, being able to just delete one of those, that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, good or bad? I don't know. I think, remains to be seen is probably the answer.
Wesley R. asks, why did Poison Ivy not attend Nationals? See,
2 words.
She attended one qualifier, short maps.
Short maps.
Short maps. Yep, that is pretty much it. Sweet and simple. The Megan asks, was there enough Kong? There's too much Kong. There's plenty of Kong.
That's too much.
We got Konged out. Do you expect Kong Blackheart to make an appearance in the Q3 watch list? Potentially.
Yeah,
I
think
can see Blackheart 100% be in the watch list.
I think I am in the party.
95%, I guess. You should never say 100%, but 95% sure that he would be in the watch list.
I think I'm in the party that nerf Blackheart before you nerf Kong. Because Blackheart enables Kong so heavily. If you take away Kong's ability to go across the map and go crazy, or at least make it so he has to take more actions to do that, I think that's better.
Yeah.
I think that's fine. Whereas Blackheart, it's like, I mean, there's just no restrictions. He's just flying across the board and doing whatever with the people he brought. So, Yeah, team change Blackheart before you change Kong if you're going to change them.
Agreed. Alex the Enchanter asks, real question, do you think that banning all the large maps had a significant impact on the meta? Yes.
100%.
On a related note, did it help tournament logistics? Also, yes. The whole thing about doing pod play at Gen Con is that they don't have space to be able to do a big Swiss tournament, with a cut to top 32 or whatever, right? Like, that's the whole point we do pod play, to like narrow down to our top 16 for qualifications. And that's because we don't have space. And instead, well, we still kind of kept it that way, but it was also easier for us. So it's always easier to stream a short map than a long map. It just is. It's way easier.
As far as recording goes, I love short maps.
Love short maps. They're the best. When they don't go to short maps, when it was between short and long, it was always so killer. Looking at you, everybody in top 8 at Adepticon. Yeah. Literally everybody going to more like tunnels or like a long map or whatever. But yeah, so I absolutely love short maps. And logistics wise, yeah, I felt like we had more space on tables. There's still time to like space out, but like for the limited tables we had, there's plenty of space between players. There's no elbow and none of that. So it was good.
I think to kind of go along with that, to go back to another point of, Major Brock's bunker being like a massive swing in either like winning or losing based on losing initiative. It kind of begs the question, do we need less maps like that or more maps like that? And I think you could lean either way.
I think so.
And make a good case with the data presented. So having an effect on the meta, there's without a doubt short maps did. I don't know how it wouldn't. And I think in an already aggressive field, like people are coming to play aggressive at Nationals. When you change it to short maps as well, you just get double aggressive. It's just it's exponential. So it's a different field. We'll see how it shakes out in future tournaments.
Wesley R asks, are we seeing a shift in the top player meta? More new names at the top of the board and fewer of the traditional staples? I don't think we're seeing fewer. I don't think at all we're seeing fewer.
In top 8, who's new? Alec?
Alec is pretty much the only new person for top 8.
Isaac's a champion. Dan's a champion. Alex Mader's a champion. Caleb Reddick?
Caleb Reddick's Canadian national champion. Ed's a champion. Lucas is a champion. I don't know if Jalen's a champion or not, but he's still a name where you're used to seeing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Patrick Frazier won Worlds.
Yeah, Patrick Frazier won Worlds. I don't know Cameron very well.
Emilio, no.
Emilio, not really well, super well known. Nate White is at least a name you're used to pseudo seeing. Same thing with Nathan Fienmayer. Yeah. And this Kenny Minks. So So
there's definitely a handful of people that are in top 16.
I feel like there's always some outliers though when it comes to things like this, where it's like, okay, we see a lot of names that seem familiar, and maybe I don't know who that or that is. I think that's just kind of always the case. So I don't think we're really seeing a shift.
Top 8.
We're definitely not seeing a shift in top player meta. That's not changing. Not in my opinion.
The good players are still good.
Yeah. Megat asks, thoughts on the new Ultra Chase? Worth playing? I mean, it's Superman, so it's not. For me personally, it never is.
I honestly have not looked
That's my biased answer.
Enough. Maybe we'll have an episode where I try to build with him, but for now, I will remain undecided. Yeah. I'm not sure.
He also asks, any names or players that surprise you that didn't or did make top cut? Yeah, I mean, Pat not making top 8. Hurts me. It hurt me. I was so bummed that he didn't make top because he was playing things that I wanted to win, and so like that was probably the biggest one that surprised me of him not making top 8.
Mike Eskew did not.
That was
qualify.
Wild. Yeah, Mike Eskew not being able to qualify was insane.
I thought for sure he'd get in one of those days, but yeah. So that'd be my answer.
Wesley R asks, of everything that is rotating out of Modern, equipment, maps, tarot cards, porters, etc., what do you think will have the biggest impact on the competitive scene and what we personally miss the most? So what will have the biggest impact going is porters. Even more so than tarot cards, it's porters, 100%. What will I miss the most? It's probably constructs. Up until hopefully Lantern Legacy gives us like a ton more new ones. But like, I'm going to miss the constructs. Like, I love construct droppers. They're so fun. They're like my favorite mechanic. So
they do rock. And I would agree with you that the porters, no doubt about it, they're the most impactful element. Whether you're playing 1 or 2, every team has one. Whether you're playing theme or not, you're still probably playing at least white shirt. For what I'll miss most, people are going to hate me for this, but I really like the A60 chases.
That is so wild. I even know why you like him and everything too, and it's just like, man.
I love them. I think they're so cool. And then my other answer is World's Finest. that's just a piece that I can't stop building with.
Yeah.
And it's Batman, so...
We got some rapid fire questions from the Maggot. What figures that people played surprised you the most? Arachnite, honestly. That much of him.
Arachnite, another one that was... It was on a couple builds using... I think I've mentioned this already at this point, but the BTU Chase Batman as a butterfly swap.
That was cool.
That was sweet.
Yeah.
Prime Captain America from Emilio is a surprise.
Emilio's whole team is so, like, strange, dude. Like, besides Hawkeye, but, like, Prime Captain America, using the Star Brand figure. Emilio's team is just so unique. And I love it. And it's very similar, or it's his exact same Origins build. I can't totally remember.
A personal surprise, because I'm just not, I guess, as observant as I thought I was, is Elsa Prime.
Yeah, also that.
Kind of wrote her off. Didn't think... Well, I mean, I didn't write her off, but I just didn't think we'd see as much of her as we did. And she's, as described earlier, nasty.
He asked thoughts on the modern is solved statement that came after Origins in regards to Ivy. It was wrong back then, and it's wrong now.
The sky is rarely falling. The sky is not falling. Is modern solved because Kong exists? No. Is modern solved even because Amit's tomb exists? No.
No.
Are there problematic things in the game? Yes. There's problematic things in every game, though.
There always will be.
In regards to Ivy, I never agreed with that. I instantly went into the lab and was like, okay, this team dunks Ivy. It was not hard to build that either. And then, when they announced the map change, it's like, all right, rip
She's
Ivy.
Not going to see play, yeah.
But even before that, it was just, okay, just make sure your team can deal with it. If it can't, you're going to have problems.
Yep.
So, no. Skies, I'm looking, still there.
Still there? Still up there? Okay, cool. Why haven't we been playing Bad Sam? Hey, shut up. The Kevin news.
Ooh.
The thoughts on the Kevin news?
We already kind of answered that.
We already answered that. Cool. Thoughts on the 2021 ruling that characters that had leap climb, when X does X, do X, being errated to taking a move action. That was a 2021 ruling.
When X does X, do X?
Yeah.
You realize that's the same variable you're referencing. It would have to be when X does Y, do Z.
Oh, that is also true.
When X does X,
you can't
does
just
X.
keep saying X because that's the
when
exact
Calder
same
does
thing.
Calder, do Calder.
That's how he wrote it.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like, if you put the same
You're
variable
right.
into that, it doesn't make any
you are
sense.
right. That doesn't make
I don't
any
even know
sense
what
at
you're
all.
asking with this question.
Yeah,
if
we're
I'm
going to
being
skip
honest.
that one, Ethan, because it's also not relevant. Thoughts on the Ghost Rider Darkseid interaction? Yeah, it's silly. The whole Ghost Rider 2099, for those that don't know, Ghost Rider 2099, one of his pilot keywords is cosmic, and here's you can just play Darkseid.
One of the two.
And because when Darkseid dies, he doesn't die, he doesn't heal, right? So you roll a d6, you turn his dial. It's like impossible to really deal with all these Darkseids.
You have 6 Ghost Riders that are like 13 for 3. They all get Psychic Blast Prob. And then when you kill one, out pops Darkseid on his last KO click, or non-KO click. And by the way, he's very good on that click. He's like an 11 for 4 with Pen, Psi, Outwit. Sidestep, he can break terrain to deal free damage. When you kill that Darkseid, he's worth 0 points because of the vehicle, or the pilot trait. And then, roll a d6, turn to that click, and then even if you kill him again, he's still worth 0. So, kill a Ghost Rider, out pops Darkseid. Kill a Darkseid, you get nothing. So, essentially, technically, you could have an 1,800 point team in 300. It seems like a joke.
A little silly.
Seems silly, but I know that another podcast host who was really spreading the word of this at Nationals is going to try and play test it. I'm curious. I honestly think it could work. I'm not going to say I'm like nervous about it impacting the game.
I think it could work
but you
too.
can't ignore these. Like you can't eventually they're going to shoot you. You can't just be like, "Oh, I'll time out the game and then kill one at the end." They're going to come to you and they're literally just going to move in any position they want. Because when Darkseid comes out, you're probably not going to start killing that Darkseid. You have to score points.
Yep.
So there's a real possibility that this is like a meta
An
threat.
actually good team, which is so wild.
But
it's such a meme team.
To assemble this team, you need 6 Ghost Rider 2099.
6 2099
This
legacy
is an
Ghost Riders.
Exodia with an extra piece, man.
Yeah,
it's
insane.
You're going to have to draw through the whole deck of Facebook to find 6 of these. Oh my gosh. I don't know how you do it. So, for whoever tests it, please report to us. I'd love to hear about it. But I think it's legit. I'm going to lean towards more legit than not legit.
The Mate asks, Do you want Masters of Time to be legal for Worlds? Yes, of course.
I think so,
I think
yeah.
it'd be fun. Any figures that stand out for Master of Time that are instant meta? Yeah, I mean, Reverse Flash, definitely.
Reverse Flash for sure. Can never argue against the sideline primes.
That 30-point Green Man.
Yeah.
Seems pretty
He's
good.
probably pretty solid. After hearing Isaac say something, I can't believe I'm doing this as a Black Lantern hater.
You are.
Well, I like the Black Lanterns, but as far as their performance in Modern goes, hating and being correct, I think Swamp Thing
It's true.
might turn that around. If that team goes first and those Batmans fly across the map and just start beating on you, you don't have reducers. What are you going to do? So that for sure. And then maybe to an extent, Caveman Flash.
I think to an extent, yeah. I'm kind of waning on him now.
Yeah.
It's kind of
His
weird.
stats are a little low,
Yeah.
but his abilities are very
I
strong.
love getting rid of Super Senses. Really like
And then
it.
obviously the trick arrows, no question. And then my biggest hope, my biggest want is that these shifting Batmen are somehow... They will be in pulp.
Somehow meta, yeah.
But I hope somebody finds a way to make them work in Modern. The Omega Batman is dirty. I'll stand on that.
He's
I think
dirty?
he's really good.
Hey, Dirty.
Little lockdown.
Have you seen Deadpool and Wolverine? Spoiler-free thoughts? Yes, we kind of already talked about it
Fun movie.
last weekend. It's a fun movie, lots of fan service, and I like that kind of stuff.
Oh,
So
yeah.
thank you. How do you feel about Wakanda Hulkbuster? I'm just kind of on Wakanda Hulkbuster. He kind
The
of makes me go.
sculpt is really cool. I want to own one because I think
cool.
it looks cool.
Yeah.
Just haven't
Put it next to the
haven't
Hall of
bought
Armor.
one.
Put it in the Hall of Armor.
Exactly. Playability wise, it's not really my style. He's kind of like a limiter in the sense where he looks to kind of deny your opponent from doing things.
I've never really loved pieces like that.
No.
You
It's
know,
not
I've
my
played
style.
pieces like that, but I don't love them.
Yeah. I think he's in line with Merlin where it's like he's got a really strong ability that people won't forget about and he'll catch people off guard.
Yeah.
But for the most part, probably end up on the wayside. But I think he's very cool.
Yeah.
Very, very cool figure.
Trusty Vault Boy asks, now that Nationals in the books, do you think the results will shift general perspective on any figures? I think so.
Arachnite,
I think Arachnite's going to be looked at more. I think Elsa Prime is going to be looked at more.
Mern.
I think Mern is looked at an insane amount. I mean, people are already kind of playing Mern. I think people are
Well,
already
what's
kind of
weird,
playing
people
Butterfly
were
and
playing
Kong.
Mern strictly offensively. People are playing Mern specifically.
Sure, you mean defensively now, more so focused?
People are going to be looking at him like, because one thing you have to keep in mind with Mern is that the no modifying your values does not require line of fire. So if you position Mern in a corner and you have other things in front of him to prevent him from being attacked, you're going to have like a really solid defensive shell. I think Mern is kind of what people wanted Jennifer Kale to be. And then when you also have things like Butterfly, I think the perspective on Mern, he was already on people's radar. I'm not going to say he wasn't, but I think he's higher now. I think people are buying into him more so.
Yeah.
And it's not just, I'll play him with Hawkeye, and just shoot you through 10 walls.
Fair enough.
So, yeah.
Megan asks, is 036 Green Arrow a baller? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is, dude. Longbow Hunter, are you kidding me? He rocks.
Long bowler. He's a ton of fun to play.
He is so much fun.
Got to play him in some BRs.
He then asks, Scarab Legacy? No, thank you. I'm good.
Why?
Then he asks, would you allow a Unimind Legacy but also a Jason Wingard Legacy, and both are meta?
A soul for a soul.
A soul for a soul?
Okay, well, let's clarify this. We are Jason Wingard.
Wingard. Yeah.
Just
we love Jason Wingard.
one of the most fun pieces to play competitively, like in history.
So much fun. He was just so much fun.
Does not like Jason Wingard.
No,
We do not like Unimind.
we hate Unimind. Unimind's
I
one
don't know
of my
how
least
he
favorite
feels about
figures literally ever.
So to bring him back,
After losing to Unimind once, I made sure to like counter build Unimind every single one. I never lost to it ever again, but like I hate Unimind.
man,
Every game was a slog, a bore,
I
a
don't
chore.
I don't think I would bring back Unimind to have Jason.
I couldn't do that to the community.
Because Jason probably
couldn't do
wouldn't
that
be
to the
good
people.
against Unimind.
No, it wouldn't.
And Unimind would beat Jason, and then I'd be sad. And then
Yeah.
at that point, yeah, for people who didn't like either, it's like, oh my god.
Yeah, dude, a tough world to live in. Miles asks, after seeing the mountain of similar teams at Nationals, what will the impact at Worlds be? Nationals is definitely a different beast because of pod play and points being a premium, but was there any weaknesses that you saw that has potential holes in it to get fringe pieces not only viable, but could counter to these powerful house builds? honestly,
Impact at Worlds, man.
the impact, I don't know. So I think it's what we kind of mentioned earlier on in the episode, where it's like we see the ultra aggression tactic at Nationals, Prime Spider-Man, Kong, Arachnite, whatever we want to say. And then that does have a decent effect on Worlds.
Yeah.
At the same, so I think just no matter what, Kong was going to be everywhere in every
Yeah.
tournament this year. He just was. He just was.
And he will be still.
And he will be still. But I do still think there's that level of creativity at Worlds that comes out to play that people are just not ready for.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't, as much as, yes, Nationals is going to affect Worlds. Of course it is. I don't think it's going to be.
Not as much as you think.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen as
The
much
way
as you
that I
think.
would put it is that Kong was a centerpiece for Nationals. The LeBron James of the team, if you will. This guy's playing 42 minutes. He's balling out. Well, 48 minutes. Screw it. He's in the whole game. He's not breaking once. And he's doing everything. Whereas now I think Kong might be looked at as more of an addition, where it's like, I'm going to bring out something a little wackier that'll catch people off guard. And Kong will still be there, just not as prominent. I do think that there are people hiding some wild stuff. They always are.
Yeah.
You know, to a lesser extent, to reference like Lucas's build with the 2x2 APOC, the Mephisto, APOC Genesis. He won, I believe, like a Wisconsin event with that. And that was new then. Oh, yeah, Scarab was on that team as well. And it was a wild control build. And something like that would not work in Nationals. You'd have to play it perfectly.
No, not at all.
So things like that are out there. Those teams, they haven't been seen yet. I firmly believe that. Is Kong still going to be at Worlds in the same way he was at Nationals? Yes, but less so.
Yeah.
I think there will be builds that use Kong, but maybe not in the same way, which is wild. But yeah, we'll see. We will see. The impact of Nats on Worlds is interesting because everyone is looking at this going like, okay, well this did well, but in this field, and then what are the tweaks people make?
So different.
You gotta meta guess.
Yeah.
You gotta roll
All
well.
sorts of them. Yeah. Gee, you gotta roll well. Jeez. Tyler M asks, when can we expect an Iconics Wrestler Spider-Man versus Macho Man video? Will the cream rise to the top? We may never know. You may never know, Tyler. But hopefully, maybe we will make a video like that. It'd be kind of fun.
That's probably the answer. You may never know.
But you may never know. Yep. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is all the questions we have for this week. We are excited about wrapping up Gen Con. Excited, looking forward to September. Looking forward to Worlds. And just having an absolute blast with Heroclix. I do want to add one thing. I kind of want to start doing this little mini segment at the end of some podcasts, but I want to start doing a Player of the Week segment. So there's no real prize or anything for it, but it's really just kind of a shout out
Community
on the podcast,
highlight.
a little community highlight. So I just wanted to shout out a player this past weekend that I think was just, number one, having a fun time. Number two, playing a unique team. And number three, someone I think is just a pretty cool dude, and that's Kevin Nelson. Kevin Nelson was jamming the Phoenix Force Wolverine, and that just ruled. It was so fun. All of his games were just move up, get in your face right away, get adjacent to as many opposing characters, and just roll dice.
Every match was the same.
And it really was. It was the same.
Awesome.
But it was fun to watch, and I love seeing it. So
he also never ran away. He
never ran away
in his opponent's
and
face.
he would lose games because of that. He was never just score points and run away. I'm a one-man army, point denial, whatever. He would stay all in your face, and he was like, I'm taking you out. I'm killing you. And sometimes that didn't
it's
work.
either you or me, bub.
And that's okay. Yeah, it's either you or me, bub. So I love it. So yeah, shout out Kevin Nelson. He is this week's Heroclix Player of the Week.
I also would like to close out with, once again, guys, the sky is not falling. One map is not going to change the world. And this data, again, is very much take with a grain of salt. We've acknowledged, I don't know how many times in this episode, that Nationals is a different field. And there are a lot of conclusions that you can, once again, emphasis on jump to.
Jump.
That you don't have to.
Leap.
So treat your fellow man with respect on Facebook if you have a differing opinion. If you have a differing opinion than me, let's talk about it. We don't need to go crazy in the comments. Let's have some healthy discussion about this. And let's look forward to collecting data in the future, because I think it's going to be really cool. I think it's going to be a good way to gauge the game, gauge the success of teams rather than figures. and in the future, potentially working with clay wood to really benefit the system, make it just a fun thing to look at rather than, once again, when you look at this data, don't treat it the same way we did before we saw the data of the sky is falling, you can't win, you're just going to lose, oh my God, 6 Kongs, I'm having nightmares. Don't be that person.
Jeez.
Be the person who instead says, even if this is true, I'm going to build some crazy stuff and I'm going to overcome it. I'm going to win.
That would rock.
Don't let the data define you. But you are the data. Good night. No.
Kind of like that
It's
line.
late.
Yeah, it is. It's late. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, Dial H for Heroclix is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you find cool stuff in stock every day, including all the latest Heroclix singles and sealed products. Make sure you check them out at CoolStuffInc.com for all your YouTube videos, podcasts, data, and more.
Yeah, we do that now.
Make sure you Dial H. Like always, happy trails.
So if you're looking for emotional satisfaction, my advice to you is seek professional
Heroclix,
help.
I'm here to take back what's mine. You may try, but you know how we set things here. Instant deadpan humor.
Over 6 people think I am funny.
I'm your Captain America.
That was just you in a costume.
You absolute fools.
Simeon will be able to edit that out.
That's cool because it's expensive.
I'm gonna make Heroclix like that forever.
Are you kidding? Wow, wow, wow.